This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Jane Fallon. Welcome, Jane, to the Real Rosewood Foundation and the Lizzie Jenkins podcast. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How about you?
I am too. It's so good to see you.
Nice to see you. It's been a while.
It has been,
In
and I'm
person.
looking forward to our upcoming event on January 20th. We are going to make some changes and do some arrangings so that we will make it work with your group. And Jane, I want people to know we met. How did we meet?
We met, I think, via Peter Gallagher. You mentioned your name. Peter Gallagher, heads of the folk show, who was a reporter for years, who knew a lot about the Rosewood situation, interviewed a lot of people. And he and I met here in Florida. He knew I had a song about Rosewood, and he's the one who mentioned that it's the centennial. So I started doing some research, and I came up with the Real Rosewood Foundation, and you're the one who got back to me the quickest, and you were right there to answer my questions. And when I suggested we wanted to do some music to help commemorate the year, you were very appreciative. And we first met at the Centennial last year in January in the park. And you invited me to come sing my song, and that was very nice. Thank you.
Yes, and I met Peter 20 plus years ago. He did an
Probably,
interview
yeah.
with me, and I'm glad that he was able to recommend that you and I get together, talk, and everything my mom would tell me, everything happens for a reason. So we are going to move forward together, and thank you for coming up, sharing your story. And later, as we have continued to communicate, you have shared with me that you have friends, also writers, about Rosewood, because they can feel the energy and care about what happened. And I'm looking forward to us refining and getting together and make this happen at the Bodittley Plaza, January 20th, 2024. Although it's after the centennial, however, it's still history. And we
True.
need to keep it alive. And I'm so glad that you're the expert, one of the experts, to help us make this happen.
I'm a musician who likes to research. I'm an ex-college professor. I believe in that music is a wonderful way to
Yes.
keep our history alive. And people that I know that decided to jump on board, some had already written the songs, some wrote them specifically for our project, also learned about this later in life, because this wasn't taught to us as children. We did not know about Rosewood. So when we found out about it, it's like, wow, everybody wanted to get on board and make their artistic presence known. So we decided to ask for music to be played, and I decided it would be good to put it on a CD so we could sell that CD, and any profits would go to the Real Rosewood Foundation, which we'll do once we finish selling all the CDs. But the CD is here, and we hope to
Yes.
sell some more when we get to Bodittley and around the area. It's online and things like that. So that's the sign that's outside there,
Yes.
and at the house and everything. So we got some wonderful artists here. So yeah, we're concerned. We wanted to go. Of course, we were expecting last year. We were
Right.
supposed to come during the centennial, but things got in the way. Busy, lots of stuff going on. And most of the people many are coming are saying yes. I've got a few people I haven't heard from yet.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get something, and some of them are coming a distance, so I've got to work that out with them as well. And see what else you might be able to plan for that day to help us get an audience in and get people understanding the importance and the seriousness and yet the memory, which I think is what we want to do here. That's what I want to do. I just want to keep the memory going and teaching.
Yes.
You might be interested that recently I was on WMNF, which is a radio station here in Tampa, and I sang my Rosewood song, Before the Fire, as one of my songs. And the man who was co-hosting wrote me back and said, I had calls from young people saying, I've never heard of this, and I'm going to look into it more. So that's what I want to do. I just want to enlighten people and say, look into it more, because I'm no expert. I just know what I've read and what I've heard, and send them to the people who do know, and to keep the history in our consciousness, because it's so important.
And Jane, I appreciate that, and you are going to be very helpful in helping us to do what you are talking about we need to do, because this history needs to continue. A couple of nights ago, a young lady called me and did an interview, and before she hung up, she said, I have 2 questions for you. I don't remember the first question right now. However, the second question was, her first question, what inspired you to research Rosewood? Okay, and why are you doing it? And I let her know that my aunt was a Rosewood school teacher from 1915 to 1923 and survived to tell my mother, her sister, the story. And Mom had said, you better, and those terms she used, you better keep that history alive. And the young lady, don't know if I said it earlier, is 18 years old. She's a senior. And her second question was, she didn't use the term after me, but she said to me, who is going to keep this history alive when you are no longer? However, she didn't use those terms, but this is what she meant. And just like you're saying, you are interested in Rosewood, your song speaks volume to truth. History is passed on, and I tell people through music, song, dance, poetry, storytelling. We must work together and keep this history alive. It's ugly, but it's history. It's who we are. And it takes all of that to bring us together. The ugly, the bad, the truth. And I feel so confident that we, as a diverse group, have done a lot. And we are here to do even more. I thank you. Okay.
Well,
and,
we do what we can do. Yeah.
I beg pardon? Oh, you don't
So-
give up either.
Well, I had promised this to people who gave their songs. I said, and we talked early on. I've talked with Jordan Marlowe, the mayor of Newberry, and we talked earlier, and it seemed like it was going to. He wanted to have a concert of some sort. Of that's cool. Let's just get people together and sing the songs. But then things got taken other directions. You had other priorities, and so I thought I told these people and asked who was invited and who was interested. I felt I have to keep trying because they said they were interested and they wanted to get their songs out there. So I had to keep reminding in the middle of all that was going on that we're still here and we're still willing to do it. So I didn't mean to be a pest, but I just kept pushing it because asking. And I kept getting responses saying, yeah, we'll meet here, we'll meet there. And that never happened. So I kept going back and saying, that didn't happen. Let's try again.
It has been.
And again, it's been busy. It's been a busy year for you and for everybody involved in the foundation. I know that. So what we thought we could do at least, even like you say, even if it's a year after, it's 101 years, that's fine. It's the same issue. It's the same story. So,
exactly. And we're going to do it. However, we're going to add substance to it. We're going to add more to it because my aunt attended a church in Archer. In Rosewood, they had a quartet. Okay. I am asking my church members if they would sing a song in memory of her. I asked for a quartet. The guys are kind of like, I don't want to do that. But guess what? I got a call last night. I now sit in church yesterday. I got a call last night. A young lady said, well, can we join the quartet? Of course. And we may have more than 4. That's okay. We want to leave a memory. Okay, and she attended that church. She's buried at the cemetery there all of her 25 years after Rosewood.
Mm.
Okay, she was born in 1894 and passed
Wow.
in 1948. Listen to the numbers: 1894, 1948, and
Yeah.
she was very, very, very unhappy for the last 25 years of her life, moving more than 5 times. Okay,
Mm.
afraid of everybody. She lived in Jacksonville, and when she was living in Jacksonville, her husband had the milkman to come to her house, deliver milk, the insurance man, the ice man, and she fired each one of them because they brought back memories.
Mm.
Okay, so we got to let people know that because of her, we need to keep this, not because of her only, but because of the history and the devastation that so many of them experience. We must keep this Rosewood history alive.
Yeah, I believe for instance, not coming from that personal way, I was in New Hampshire, and at that time living there, and I'm a songwriter who loves to write historical and environmental and whatever songs that I looked up things to do it on purpose, right? So I ran across the Will McLean Foundation here in Florida, and they have a Florida history song every year contest. So I said, oh, I'll write something. So I started doing some research, and I hit Rosewood, and it's the first time I ever heard of it. And I had 2 days to write that song. And I thought this is meant to be. I said, I don't know why I have never heard of this thing, because we weren't taught it in school. So I did win that contest with the song. I came down here to play it, and met a lot of other people then who had written songs. And I think it's because we want to tell the story. We weren't involved in it. None of us are involved in it, but some of us have no history, no family members. But like all things in America, we are a complex country. We've had lots of good things and bad things, and I think we need to understand that they happen, and that we need to remember, move on, but we can't move on without knowing what happened. I think it's important to know that, exactly what happened, and that, we're not trying to hold on to it or make people guilty, or it's just a matter of, we can't let it not go. I didn't know about this. I didn't know about Tulsa. I didn't know about other places that had happened. And then a wonderful lady named Cherie Dupre, who had a website. I happened to stumble on it, and I said, would you like my song for your website, because it has a media page? Well, she didn't have a website person at that time, but she had the song. So later on, she gave my song to a woman named Mia Hamm Clark, who was doing a whole podcast on Black Wall Street, all the different places in America, and they played my song on the Rosewood portion. So having written that song, which was something that really opened my eyes, made me realize how important and valuable it is to tell story in song. And then you've come along and you've appreciated it as well. And Pete Gallagher appreciated it. Mm-hmm. And all these other people writing songs are just trying to do the same thing. Let's remember. Let's understand so that we don't repeat ourselves in the future, right?
Exactly. And I tell people, right, and I tell people, without history, we're nothing. We must keep it alive. And history is who we are. Okay? It's about time for the first half. We're going to head to a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida and America's Black History.
And you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Jane Fallon. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Special thanks to Greg Bradley Allstate. Okay, and Jane, before I start talking, I want to mention, and to the audience too, that I have written a couple of 3 books. And one of them, the most recent one, don't know if you can see it, but it's called Lizzie's Rosewood Story. And people are able to go to my website and purchase it. Okay, and another book I have written is called Alachua County, Florida. This is about blacks in Alachua County, Florida. And today I'm going to put a plug in for Dale Carnegie training. I have completed the course and I was able to graduate with honors. Ha ha ha.
No, I'm sure that's
Okay.
I'm sure that was definitely deserved.
Oh, I was able to graduate with honors, y'all. See that A+ up there? Okay. But anyway, there is a class starting January 16th, 2024, and I'm encouraging all of my friends to enroll. If you don't enroll this year, put it on your to-do list. It's a very, very exciting class. I completed it. If I did, I know you can. Okay, back to Rosewood. And my website, by the way, is rosewoodflorida.com. Okay. Jane is back with me. Jane, where are you from? Where do you live?
I grew up in California,
Okay.
and Oregon. West Coast, I'm a cattle rancher's daughter. And I moved out to New Hampshire with my husband, who was from Massachusetts, back in after we were married, like in the 80s. So most of my life I've lived in New Hampshire up north. And then we moved down to Florida about 5 years ago. Grandson and kids down here, and we've just moved permanently down here to Dunedin, Florida, on the West Coast.
Okay,
So that's where we are now.
wonderful. Whether you know it or not, you were born to meet me. We were born
Of
to
course,
connect.
yes. That's what it is about connections. I've met many people through my music endeavors, and I think that's why I do it. That's what I was meant to do, to meet people, travel around, tell stories that maybe other people can't tell in the same way. It's a different way,
Right.
and that's my way of doing things. So
And
I
connect.
appreciate meeting these people.
Yes, and you have done an excellent job making connections for us because of Rosewood. Okay, and we appreciate that.
Yeah. It is something, and like I say, people can go to Bandcamp, BANDCAMPY, bandcamp.com, and look up the Rosewood Centennial Project. And you'll find the listing of the songs and how to order one. What I didn't do was put the songs themselves online, thinking these songs belong to the people who wrote them. But as a
Yes.
whole thing, it belongs to our project. So if they buy the whole thing, they pay for that, but they want individual songs, they probably have to go to the people's websites. But this is because I want to respect the artist as well as respect the project. So if they go on, they'll see information about it. And there's also your interview with Pete at Florida Folk Music, floridafolkshow.com. Interview with you, and also a list of the songs there that they put on their website for the Florida Folk Show. So they can find that there as well.
So Jane,
Remember that
you're
interview?
saying
Yeah.
you're saying to me that you have a copy of my interview with Pete?
Yes, it's on the Florida Folk Show website.
Oh, really? I need to
Yeah.
download it to my.
Yeah, we told. I'm sure that Tim could get you a copy as well, but it's there on the site. They uploaded it, and it's available and to hear, and people can read about this as well at that point. And so we did get it out there, and it's available for people. And we know that CDs aren't as used anymore.
Yes.
And I am considering doing a video compilation for YouTube I don't want to do it on Spotify and those things because these songs will also belong to the artists individually. But
Yes.
as a whole, I want people to see as a whole, it's going to raise money for Rosewood Foundation. But as individually, the songs belong to the artists. So I tried to make a compromise there. But they donated them for our compilation for the Centennial Project, and I'm very thankful to all of them for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were going to do, but as we got the songs in, I said, we really have to do something with this. We can't just have a sing on the radio and then I'll walk away. Let's have something that lasts for a while. And that's what it's all about.
Exactly. And it needs to be on the website, on our website also.
Yeah,
A copy.
we'd love to have that. Yep, we can do that. So we can send you information on that to put on your website, and you can have a link to the folk show. You can also get that video, I'm sure, from Pete and from Tim, our sound guy, and they are very willing to be helpful for this whole thing and come and do help with recording at the show.
Okay.
They're not going to do their own folk show that morning on the place. They'll do it elsewhere. But they'll set up
Okay.
for the show itself. If you need sound help, they are there to help. So I'll have you talk to them about that.
We need
So,
help.
Yeah, and they're very good. Of course, and Pete, of course, goes way back as a reporter in that era. He talked to when they finally started talking about Rosewood, which took a long time, as you know. He was one of the
Yes.
early ones in there talking to people about it. He's got a big
Yes.
interest in it.
He was the first
He wrote two
one
of
to
the
talk to
songs.
me.
Yeah,
Yes.
he wrote two of the songs on that were recorded. That are on this CD. He wrote two of them with friends, and I think he co-wrote a couple. But so he's been very instrumental to hooking me up with this, and then I kind of took over because they got their hands full with other things. So I said, well, let me kind of finish the project, keep it going. And very, very thankful to come up to Gainesville the night you had the candle lighting service. It was very inspirational to me to do that. And that was the
Yes.
start of it. It took a while to get us back as a group. But most people right now, outside of maybe 3 people yet I haven't heard from, are willing to come do it and would like to be involved. We
Okay.
might be able to take other songs and have other people who didn't write them sing them, or maybe able to add to them with other songs that people come forward and say, gee, I've got one, I know I can add to it. And love to have a choir and
Yes.
any other input from the other Rosewood groups. I know it's hard. Sometimes they're busy with their things, but if anybody from those groups want to contact you about being part of it, that would be wonderful. We have a lot of other things going on. So yeah, I just want to be able to feel like we've culminated it, that we've
Yes.
finished at least this part, the Centennial Project. The story goes on and on. And I'll always sing my 2 songs I wrote about. In fact, the Mama Can I Go to School Today? You remember that one?
Yes.
I wrote with your help,
Yes.
and named students of your aunt are named in the song. Well, that won 3rd place in the Maine Songwriters Association
Really?
competition, and it's also a finalist in the South Florida competition coming up in February. I entered that song twice, and it gets noted. So that's another song I'm proud of, and hope that we can talk about the effect of these kinds of things on children, whether that's Ukraine or Israel or Rosewood. It's the same thing. The kids they suffer, and they never
Exactly.
forget, like you said. They never forget.
Never forget. And I will reach out to, or they can reach out to me if they want to participate, and we'll do what we need to do to keep the Rosewood history. Just to keep it out there truthfully, because Mom said you must research, authenticate, and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's what I do, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if
right.
we waver, then it's an insult to the victims. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
they
it's hard to
suffer.
find, of course, the truth. And so you do the digging. You do people personally. I didn't know when I submitted my song. I submitted it in 2 days. I wrote this thing, and I decided for some reason to write it in the voice of Fannie Taylor. It just came to me. My name is Fannie Taylor. That put me in the middle. I could see the thing happening. I decided to give her a bit of a conscience. She saw it. She's sorry what she did, but a
Yes.
woman caught, and I gave her a little bit of a leeway that way. It could have happened, definitely happened that way. But I said, I don't know if all this is true. I got it off of Wikipedia. Oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Yes.
But I did read a book called like Judgment Day. I forget the name of the fellow who wrote that. He was a respected author and a reporter who went and interviewed people from Rosewood and told the story. And I said, I did get it right for the most part. I got it right. And that was a very, very interesting book. He talked about how afraid everybody was when they left. Afraid to talk, afraid that the people were following them. No idea what had happened.
Okay.
Very
He wrote
sad.
the book, but that was Dr. Maxine Jones' information.
Okay.
FSU, Dr. David Colburn,
Okay.
University of Florida. They were the
Uh-huh.
investigative team of 5.
Okay.
Dr.
Okay.
Larry Ellis from Florida A&M University. So he wrote it, but really it was information that was
That's often the way it works.
researched by
Authors
others.
are not, yeah. Authors
Yeah.
are not the ones who, they get the information. And I think he gave credit to people in his book where he'd gotten the information. But some
Okay,
people
I'm
who are
glad
good,
he
good-
did.
He did. A lot of people
but
who
I'm
get
not going to call
information.
his name.
Okay, all right. No, I don't remember the name of the fellow either.
Okay.
And again, it's hard to know. The authors have to do research, and hopefully they go to the right people to do it.
Yes,
Because often
exactly.
the historians or the people who know are different than the authors. They can always be the same sometimes. But that did help me a little
But
bit know.
Yes, and we appreciate
I had to
it.
know a little bit. Yeah.
Right,
Had to know
because
what was
the
going
message-
on.
Yes, the message needed to get out there. The timing
yeah.
was then. The timing
Yeah.
was then in the 1992-ish, 3, 94, 97.
right.
Because I was on the Oprah Winfrey show with him. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I
okay.
was. He got all of the attention. Okay, we
Of
didn't
course.
get any attention. I was
Yeah.
not a happy camper, but we
And it
were
was like,
recognized.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
It wasn't until
Yeah.
2006, was it, that they put up the plaque out there? It took a while before
2004.
Yeah, 2004. Okay, the
May
Jeb Bush,
4.
I think. Yeah.
2004, 10
4.
years to the
Okay.
date from
Wow.
Governor Lowton Child signing the bill, the Rosewood bill. And I made certain we did it on this particular day. I am the person responsible for that marker. I love saying that. You know, it's like bragging, but I've
But
earned it.
It also tells you that, see, Mom, I'm doing what you told me. That's what it is. You know, you're
Yes,
saying, Mom, I
yes.
did it, right?
Yes, yes,
And she's saying,
yes.
yes, that's Lizzie, you're doing good. You keep going.
And I had to call like 3 times the Governor Jeb Bush office, and they said, "Oh, $2,400." I said, "Okay," and I never heard from them again. So my second call, they had dropped the price to, decreased it to, $1,200. Okay. The third time I called them, I was really, really going to let them have it. They said, "Okay, we decided to give it to you. When can you send us the script?" And I said to them, "What's your email address?" I sent it right away, started working on the program with Dr. Maxine Jones, okay, to bring him to Rosewood to dedicate. He was our keynote speaker to dedicate this marker. And I made sure I introduced him, okay, and the rest is history. Okay,
That's
there
great.
were
Yeah.
many people there from the community of Rosewood. Okay, they were happy to see him. I have photos. He did an excellent job. He sent a couple of letters. One was a proclamation, and the other one was just a letter of acknowledgement. So I'm really proud of turning what is negative into positiveness. And I tell people I took a negative effect and made a positive effect. Okay. I hope I have the effect and the effect in the right place. But I'm happy, I'm proud, and we are going to move forward educating our kids. They are so important. Okay, educating them to take the history, keep it alive. Okay, so we are coming to a close. Is there anything else you would like to say, Jane, before we depart?
No, thank you for having me. It's very difficult. I feel like I understand from that perspective, and yet we are musicians. We're understanding from our perspective, which is take the information you have and make it everybody's, even though we
Yes.
didn't experience. That's what we're trying to do, and educate people who've never heard of it. And that's what songs do. And they say, "Oh, let me go look this up." And that, to me, it's all about the education. And I'm happy to do that. And thank you for giving us the opportunity.
And many people have not heard of Rosewood, and we are doing an excellent job getting the word out there, national. Okay, so I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode. I am Queen Lizzie. Until next time, this is my Rosewood story, and I'm sticking to it. Goodbye.